Hello and welcome to Real Estate 360 Show.
Yes. How you doing today, Steve?
I'm doing fantastic. This is Steve Connolly, and that is
Jason Miles,
Man.
the real estate trainer.
The real hashtag.
Hashtag the real estate trainer. How you feeling today?
I am feeling fantastic.
You know, you're looking pretty springish today.
Oh, springish?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, I've got this leather jacket, my white T-shirt on, and my, I don't know, this is kind of a cross between the Matrix glasses and, biker.
I think that in my mind, when you take that jacket off, you're going to have a pack of cigarettes rolled up in your sleeve.
I was thinking about that. Unfortunately, what I would put there would probably be a roll, a little box of Tic Tacs.
Oh, yes.
Instead of cigarettes. I went to the motorcycle show, and I love motorcycles, and so I got inspired, to wear this little outfit. So, if you want to see it, go to YouTube. But really, we just want you to hear what we have to say, regarding real estate investing. And our topic today is,
how do you become a millionaire in 5 years or less in real estate?
Now, wouldn't that be an exciting thing, to be a millionaire using real estate and do it in 5 years or less? Now, some people have reported they can do it in a year. All right.
It's possible.
That's great. It's all possible.
But that's the exception to the rule, as we were talking about earlier. I mean, it's, does it happen? Yeah. Can it happen? Absolutely. Will it happen again? For sure.
Yes.
But you should not expect. I mean, you can expect to do it. It's great to have high expectations and set your goals really high, But again, it's most important that one understands that most people don't get there in a year's time.
And real estate investing is not a get-rich-quick scheme.
Absolutely not.
It is the real world of how to make some really good money.
You must learn the fundamentals.
Right.
Then you have to take action. You got to put the fundamentals, put the education to work. You have to take what they say, massive action. I love it when they say it. You got to take massive action now.
Yes.
But no, it's important. It's important, but you got to learn it. And you don't have to learn everything before you do a thing,
Absolutely not. You don't have to learn everything. You don't have to know everything. You can major in the minors if you want to, or you can major in a few of the things that will actually make you some money.
That's right.
Now, we want to talk a little bit about what's happened really over the last about decade. And,
a little more,
maybe a little more, back to 08, 09, back in there.
Because really it's the new beginning, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of us, most of us were at the ground floor all over again and starting in 08 with the recession.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We were totally wiped out.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the ones that were totally into real estate, and that was me.
For sure. I mean, even, real estate investing in almost any form, with the exception of multifamily.
Right.
But real estate investing in almost any form. Lending had dried up. The buyers were gone. The sellers were obviously gone because no one knew where they were going to be able to sell a property in terms of a price point. I mean, just imagine, having a multi-million-dollar business today. Yeah. And literally in the matter of a few months, it's worthless.
That's right.
It's worthless. The house is worth.
It's worse than worthless.
Yeah.
Try to say that. It's negative all of a sudden.
It's rough. I mean, just talking about myself,
Tell us about you.
I don't even know, anymore. I had a few dozen properties.
Yeah.
Single family homes that I was trying to liquidate, and the market just kept falling. No one was buying because no one knew where the bottom was. And that was probably a 2-year cycle from 08 to 10 before we actually got a bottom. The banks got together and said, hey, we've got to figure something out here because, $100,000 houses were selling for $5,000.
I know.
I mean, it was insane. And if you bought, like, our average acquisition price back then was about $63,000.
Yep.
And that $63,000 was now worth 5, 10, maybe
10.
Couldn't sell it. We owed more than we could. The only thing we couldn't get money to renovate them because most of the hard money lenders had gone out of business.
Well,
or
it
just
wouldn't
close
make
shop.
sense to renovate them anyway,
Yeah.
you know, because, you know, we were in them for 60, let's say 63,000, and
Yeah.
you spend 20 on it, and now you've got 83,000 on it.
In a
And it's worth-
$10,000 house.
Yeah, it's worth right 10 or 20 grand.
Right.
You know? So who cares? You know.
And it was rough.
Yeah.
So just imagine, everyone out there not being able to make money for 2 years, not being able to sell a house. Now you could have bought, but most people weren't buying. Even the big investors weren't buying because the prices were continuing to fall, literally month after month after month after month. No one knew where the bottom was. So you're not going to buy an asset that's continuing to depreciate in the worst way, not in the good kind of depreciation.
It looked like the computer business to me, you know, when the RAM goes up and the price goes down. I mean, it's like, why would you want to be in that?
Yeah, it was bad, like the .com boom.
Yeah.
2000. No one was buying any tech stocks. There was nothing selling. They were just falling. Companies were closing left and right. We witnessed the exact same thing in the real estate world in 08 through 10. 2 years of absolutely nothing but pain. What are we going to do? How are we going to get through this? What's next for us?
What did you do? I mean, how did you take yourself out of being totally wiped out to where the next level? Not even where you are now, but
we went
just stepping out of that.
So for me in particular, life happened at the same time. There was a string of when one says they lost everything, I can truly say in that time period that I lost everything. And the hardest part was getting my mind back.
Right.
Getting back in the game mentally, emotionally, spiritually, wanting to be there physically is just not enough. So for me, that took another couple years. Mm-hmm. And once it got back, it was, for me, wholesaling.
Right.
For me, it was wholesaling because I had nothing but knowledge, experience.
Yeah, why wholesaling? Tell us exactly why.
Well, for me, wholesaling was the way to get back in the game. There are other things that I could have done as well, but wholesaling and partnerships are the two go-to places when you have no money or very, very little money. Wholesaling and partnerships. People will tell you, use hard money lenders. There's 100% financing out there. Forget all that stuff. Because if you get lucky enough to find the lender, it's only an introductory program, as we know.
Yeah.
So they'll disappear pretty quickly, and you just never know when they're going to come up. So if you're in a position today where you have little to nothing, $1,000 or less, let's say, the only thing that you can really do is wholesale and generate partnerships. And for me, those were the two avenues. I went knocking on doors, as I like to talk about. My children and I went knocking on doors, and it took us a few weeks to get our first deal. Yeah. And that deal actually, there was two things. I did both these strategies on that first deal. I wholesaled the deal. I made $6,000, and I partnered with that investor because the investor lived polar opposite the property.
Oh, okay.
So they needed someone to help manage the deal. So I did that for 30% of the net.
Okay.
On the retail sale. So I was able to put both of those strategies to work on the same deal.
On the same property.
On the same property.
Yeah.
So that was my way back in.
Okay. So really, wholesaling would be your way to generate some cash right now so you can create your income.
100%.
And it's not wealth generation, it's just paying the bills.
That's right. And giving you tomorrow, giving you next week, next month. Because how many of us are living paycheck to paycheck, week to week, or even biweekly, whatever it is. Of course, by the time, especially if you're getting paid biweekly, those last couple days before your paycheck hits, it's tough. So, this gives you, maybe next month, maybe a month and a half or 2 months of living, depending on, what your expenses are. But it absolutely gives you the peace of mind to know I've got this taken care of for the next 2 months.
So in this show, really, we want to cover two things. One is, how do you make a living while you're generating real wealth in real estate? How you can because you've got to cover your monthly expenses first. You know,
That's
you
right.
can't think about, oh man, I'm going to be a millionaire in a year, and you can't focus on that if you can't pay your light bill.
That's right.
You know,
That's right.
So let's cover paying the light bill, paying the rent, paying the mortgage, whatever that is, transportation, gas, food, entertainment, that sort of thing. And that is wholesaling and joint venturing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the way you're going to get in the game if you don't have much of anything financially.
Yeah.
Or if you've got some money and you just don't know what to do, you can partner with the guy who has the person who has the know-how but doesn't have the cash.
Yeah, of course.
Right? So you can find these opportunities. All you have to do is put yourself in an environment to do so.
Absolutely.
You know, that's it.
So we're going to cover a lot more of this in a minute. And right after this break, do not touch that dial.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the 4 wealth generators.
Okay, excellent.
We'll buy your house. Click 833willbuy.com. That's 833WELLBUY.com.
Or call 833-WILL-BUY.
Se habla español. Llámanos. Call us today.
And welcome back. Real Estate 360.
Hey, Steve, I want to ask you something.
Yes, sir.
Where can people see us?
Well, just about everywhere, really. Realestate360show.com is a great place to start. You can watch all of our videos right there. And every podcast on the planet, we can name them, but you know who they are, right?
Every platform, whatever you listen to on your phone, on your tablet, on your PC at home, whatever you are utilizing to get your information, go to Real Estate 360 on any one of those and check us out. Even YouTube.
Yeah, even you might like iTunes, or you might like Spotify, or you might like Google, or whatever you like. We're there.
That's
okay,
right. We'll be there.
Yeah,
waiting for you
before the break. Waiting with bated breath. So before the break and at the end of the last segment,
yes,
you mentioned that we were going to cover 4. Let's call them
wealth generators.
Wealth generators,
or
as I was trying
the
to
4
look
wealth
over.
pillars, even. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Could be whatever one would want them to be.
4 wealth generators.
Yeah.
So this is kind of the roadmap as to how to become a millionaire in the next 5 years.
Absolutely.
And frankly, you can be at the top of your game in any industry in 5 years if you just focus on it. So we happen to like real estate because we see a lot of opportunity there. There's just so many different variations and ways to earn respectable money.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And we talked in the last segment about how to get in the game with $1,000 or less, right?
Right.
There's really only those 2 ways, wholesaling and partnerships. Having said that, you can leverage those 2 methods to obviously create cash for yourself and begin the process of generating your wealth to becoming that millionaire that you want to be.
Let me say one thing. There's 2 ways to get into this, right? I mean, you can continue to do your JVs or wholesaling. Frankly, you could just be a massive action wholesaler.
Right.
Just generate, $83,333 a month.
That's right.
In cash from wholesaling. Yes, that can be done. Could you start out doing that? Not likely.
But you got to start.
Yeah. You could start out, with $8,333 a month and make $100,000 in a year, or you can do $83,333 a month and make $1 million a year, or somewhere in between,
right,
or above or below. Doesn't matter.
But it also depends on how much one wants to work, right?
Yeah.
So
that's a lot of activity.
That's a lot of activity, and it can be done. It can be done.
Yeah,
it can absolutely be done. But once you've started that, once you've started wholesaling, and once you've started developing your partnerships, at some point, you or your group is going to say, "Hey, listen, we need to start creating some passive income. We need to start creating some wealth for ourselves because, if I stop working today, if I can't work for a month for whatever reason, I don't make any money. If I want to take a 3-week vacation, I'm not going to be making money. Yep, they have all these programs out there, the gurus, that tell you, yeah, you can make tons of money on the beach off your laptop. Is it possible? Yeah, if you have the systems in place.
But you're still working.
You are still working. You're not enjoying your vacation.
It doesn't matter if you're on the beach or not. You got your laptop there.
That's right.
You might as well be sitting at your desk.
Exactly right.
So,
but the first pillar is cash flow.
Yeah.
Right? You have to generate cash flow. And let's talk about that from a simple perspective, an easy perspective right now. Let's just say we have a $100,000 house that we're going to buy, right?
Yeah, sure.
And we're not going to talk about, we're just going to be real matter of fact with this conversation. You're an investor, you're going to be required to put $20,000 down on $100,000, 20% generally.
Right.
That's what that's going to be, right? So you put the $20,000 down. Where does that come from? It can come from a lot of different places. Maybe you saved up for it. Maybe you brought in a partner, right? Whatever the case, that's what happened. So you bought this house for $100,000, and after you calculate all of your expenses associated with it, insurance, mortgage payments, interest, any, repairs for turns, things like that. Let's say on an annual basis, it makes you $2,400, $200 a month.
Okay.
Right? You bought it for $100,000. You paid the note for an entire year. You took care of everything. The tenant is in there. You and your partner, however it plays out, have made $2,400 in cash flow, in actual cash flow, a year on that deal. Now, that's not enough to get you rich, right? It's not enough to get you rich, but you're in the game.
You'd have to move to Thailand to be considered rich.
But that's just one deal,
that
right?
program.
But that's one deal. Okay, so let me run it down to you. I'm going to run really quickly through this, right? So you've got your cash flows, $2,400. You put $20,000 down. Let's say all you had was a 3% appreciation. Now your $100,000 house is worth $103. Or let's say you bought it for $100, but it was actually worth $125.
Yeah, let's do that.
Right? Because that's how we would be buying. We wouldn't be buying at the top of the market.
Mm-mm.
Any investor would not, a good one, wouldn't be buying at the top of the market. So now when you consider your 3% appreciation, you're only $80,000 into this house in terms of what you owe. But now it's worth $125 plus 3%, which is roughly
129.
Yeah, let's just call it 129.
Okay.
It's now worth $129,000 after the first year, but you've also paid it down,
right,
a little bit. Not much, maybe $1,500, right? So but now you've got $29,000 plus $1,500 plus $2,400, and we haven't even talked about the tax benefits. So $29,000 in terms of actual profit, but it's not realized. It's on paper,
right?
But we're just going to talk about what that all looks like. So it's $29,000 because you had $25,000 equity when you got it, plus the appreciation. That's taken us to roughly $29,000, plus the pay down, which is approximately $1,500 in a year, depending on what your interest rate is. There can be some variables, but just for the sake of the conversation, now that's $30,500 plus the $2,400 in cash flow that you made. So that's $32,900.
This sounded a little bit better.
And we haven't even begun to talk about the tax benefits.
I can move to Vietnam now instead.
Yeah, see what I'm saying? Now, even if you just did one of those deals a month.
Yeah.
One a month. Now, it's, again, you're not going to be a millionaire immediately in that year, but if you did that over the course of a year and you look at what that looks like next year, now you're up to $300,000-$400,000 in just 2 years.
Right.
In terms of, we're not even counting your down payment. That 20% that you had to put down, right? Because you're going to be listening to this and you're going to say, well, I'm trying to make some money over here. I don't have $20,000 to put down every single month on a property. Well, that's where your partnerships come in, right? That's where your creative financing tools come in, your methods come in. You want to be creative in a lot of these because at some point, in your first year, if you buy 3 or 4 houses a year, you're not going to be able to go to your traditional banks to do this.
No, absolutely.
So you're going to have to find creative ways.
6, maybe 7 is about the max.
And if you're lucky.
Yeah.
We have a gentleman that comes to our class that they stopped him at 3.
Wow.
They stopped him at 3, and
I
he
was
didn't know
talking
what to
to
do.
a fellow the other day, and they stopped him at 6.
Yeah. So you never know where that's going to be. But again, there are other lenders out there. You will pay more in interest.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're not quite hard money, but it's not 3%, 4% money either. But they're out there and they're available to you. And you have to understand that you are always going to be learning what to do, how to do this. You're always going to find yourself, you'll start raising money. You'll start developing partnerships in one way or another. And listen, I'm only talking about $100,000 acquisition. You know, we're not talking about multifamily and doing the exact same things there. You know, it's just as easy, if not easier, to buy $1 million multifamily as it is going to be to buy that single family home.
It's actually easier because if you think about it, you know, you have to buy 10 houses to equal a multifamily, or, you know, let's just say that. So you're doing the same amount of work to buy that one single family as you are a multifamily. So if you take that same amount of work and multiply it by 10 houses, then all of a sudden the multifamily looks a lot simpler.
That's right.
You know, because there's
exactly
a ton of work involved in buying anything.
Yeah. And then you're saying, you know, look, even if I work that strategy, I don't have the time to manage this. Well, you wouldn't manage it. You know, you'd have to get a property manager. Right. You know, that's the wise thing to do. You know, but again, you know, there's a difference between the single family and the multifamily. You know, you're going to pay a little bit more for management on single family than you would on multifamily. And you have to, and again, multifamily, it can mean a duplex, a quad, you know, a triplex.
Right.
But your commercial financing doesn't come in play until it's a 5-unit or greater.
Right.
So let's talk about it from that perspective for a second. You can go buy a single family home, like you said, one time and do all that work to buy that one house. It would take you, if you're doing one a month, 5 months to do that single family model as opposed to
one commercial,
month.
one
Exactly.
small commercial.
That's exactly
property.
right. Exactly. But listen, let's take a break and come back to our wealth family.
Do you need to sell your house? Well, our company will buy your house. We make the process very fast, very easy, and it's all cash. All you have to do is give us a call today.
We'll buy your house. Click 833willbuy.com. That's 833WELLBUY.com.
Or call 833-WILL-BUY.
Se habla español, llámanos, call us today.
And we are back with Real Estate 360.
We are. Now, Steve, I have a question for you.
Okay.
You know, we have.
Make it an easy one.
I don't know how easy this is going to be.
Okay.
I'm going to try to pull a tooth or two this time.
Ooh.
You know, we talk about what happened during the recession, and it's easy to talk now about, you know, how to become a millionaire. We know the processes, and we're going to continue to share it. But I think it's equally as important to explain to people that there is a downside. There can be a downside. There can be market shifts, and it's your individual responsibility to see your way through that.
Right.
Right. So knowing that we both went through some struggles, you know, beginning in 2008, I talked a little bit about mine. Do you mind if I ask you to share a story with us?
I don't mind. You know, it's whatever, you know, who cares? But, no, I actually 2008 came along and I figured out a little program that would keep me going through 2009, and then that fell apart as lending tightened up in every single area.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, now what do I do, you know? And then some other stuff happened. You know, you kind of alluded to some of your life happens, you know, situations happen. Some stuff happened with me as well, and so I was really like kind of a deer in headlights. You know? I didn't know really what to do. And you went through a couple of years with no money. I went through a couple of years with, you know, making absolutely nothing, trying to figure out what to do. And really, I lost everything, you know, honestly, including my house in Alpharetta. I had a $500,000 house, 2 acres in Alpharetta. And it was brutal.
Yeah.
You know, I held on to it. It's pretty good at negotiating and hanging on to stuff, but finally, you know,
just in an effort to keep your sanity.
I just had to let it go, you
Yeah.
know, and you know, there's a lot of relief in just letting go, you know, just let it all go, whatever. And the one thing, you know, I watched, you know, we all watch news, you know, people have gone through a fire or a flood and something, and they've lost everything.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there thinking, no, you haven't lost everything. You've only lost the stuff. You haven't lost what's in your mind, in your head, your ability to recreate every single thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so it took me a while to come back around to that, you know. And my story, which I've told a couple times, I'm gonna make it really short this time. You know, I was still in the house, and somebody said, "Hey, you should get back into real estate."
No, this was several years later, though.
Well, this was 2010.
Okay, yeah, a couple years
later. I was still kind of going back and forth, and actually improved on that situation. Kind of dropped back. I went back and forth a little bit until 2014, and because I ended up going into some energy work, some energy healing works, more spiritual stuff. I did that for 3 years, and it was very beneficial from a mindset perspective, but from a financial perspective, it was not that much better than being broke.
Yeah.
You know, it was about the same. And so in 2014, I kind of got back into it, and you know, I found a property. I started looking. I said, "Hey, you know, this feels right." I'd gotten all my other stuff cleared out through a realtor. I like sourcing that way because I can see things that maybe other people can't see, and that's really what it's all about. Is you see the diamond amongst all the cubic zirconians.
That's right.
And so it stands out like a sore thumb. I wrote a contract on it and put it out to however marketing I could come up with. You know, Craigslist is about all I had at the time.
Yeah.
You know, and found a buyer, and it was a wholesaler who had a buyer out of New Zealand. And so this guy picks it up, and you know, I'm off and running. I made $6,000 that month on that deal, on that one transaction.
That $6,000 seems to be a recurring number for us.
Yeah, it does.
That's what my first one back was. It was $6,000.
Yeah. That's a good number, you know.
It's
not quite 8,300, you know.
No,
whatever.
not quite. But it's getting there.
It is, and I followed that with another one that made $8,000, and then I followed that with another one that made $1,500, and another one that made $6,000 or $8,000 or $10,000, and then it was like $15,000 a month. You know, it's not a bad way to get started again.
That's exactly right.
And that's what we're really talking about constantly is, look, create your cash flow, do it with joint ventures and wholesaling, and then roll that into an expansion of cash flow.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we're all, like I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, you know, he was talking about his aches and pains, and I said, you know, by the way, I don't know if you've noticed, but, you know, we're getting older. He said, yeah. He said, yeah, but, you know, old age is a gift that's not granted to only but a few people.
That's for sure. That's a true story.
And I said that's a great way to say that. You know, great perspective.
It is. I mean, you know, we sit here and we talk about all these different methods, and the people that are listening, whether they're actually doing it now or planning to do it. You know, all of your success is going to be predicated on you taking action.
Right.
Right. And you understanding that time is finite for us.
Yeah.
Right. For in this experience that we're having. Right.
You mean the experience on the planet?
Exactly.
Okay.
in this body.
All right.
You know, in the bodies that we possess, time is finite. It's not, you know, tomorrow's not guaranteed. And if you want to achieve your goals, you have to actually get up and do it. You know, there's a great book by a gentleman. It was written by a gentleman named Gay Hendricks.
Okay.
Right? It's called 5 Star. And it's all predicated off one question. And I'm paraphrasing here. But if you can imagine yourself on your deathbed today, today, now, this moment. And you can ask yourself a series of questions. You know, did I love the way I wanted to love? Did I go the places I wanted to go? Did I do the things I wanted to do? Did I start that business? Whatever. And if the answer to any of those questions is no, you can get up now and you can go make that your reality. Go do it.
That's right.
Because you're the only thing stopping you from what you want to do and what you want to achieve in this life. You know,
Talking my language.
that's right. It's that thinking. You got to get rid of it.
That's right.
You know, you got to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And just do it. And if you do that, nothing is impossible. You just have to believe it. You have to believe without knowing. You have to believe without seeing. It's that whole. I don't even know how to describe it. It's just like any religion that
What are
someone
you
would
doing
subscribe
sitting
to.
in my chair? I mean, what's going on here?
But it's the truth, man. I mean, we could sit here and talk about money and real estate deals and transaction after transaction after transaction. But the one thing that separates us from all the other people that have tried and quit, or that read all the books and don't do anything until they feel as though they've learned everything, the difference between us and them is that we get up every day and we go do it.
Yeah.
We have new relationships. You know, it's every partnership that we enter isn't the same, right? It doesn't matter what the paper says, because you have to deal with the personalities.
But, you know, we're experienced, so everything we do is perfect.
that part. It's perfectly imperfect, that's for sure.
I'm being very facetious here, so I'm hoping you guys are picking up on that, because do we make mistakes? Oh, my gosh,
Yeah.
we do. We absolutely do. But do we set out to make them? No, of course not.
Right.
But we're taking action, and we accept that we're going to make some mistakes.
That's
And
right.
guess what? There are no mistakes. There's only bigger and better opportunities.
Right.
That's all.
Right. When we see that we've done something that didn't necessarily go our way, all that does is make us think more.
Right.
You know, how can we steer
Improve.
this? Yeah. How do we get it back on track? How do we get it in the right direction? How do we keep it from doing this the next time?
Yeah.
And that's the education that we get out of everything that we do.
Sure.
So my explanation for a lot of this is telling people, look, you can read a book about how to ride a bike, but you're not going to know how to ride that bike till you actually get on it and work out all those little muscles. You know, you got to learn to balance when you're up there. So just do it.
May I say a little bit about what I did last week?
I'd love to hear about that.
Okay, it's kind of like a day in the life, if you will.
Day in the life of
A day in the
named
life.
Steve.
Yep. So, yep. You know, we're all about, okay, cash flow generation.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you do that? Well, wholesale and joint venture, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I get up and I say, okay, it's a new week and I need to make some offers. So I made 6 offers that day. I said, okay, let's make some offers. And one of those offers was this one right here. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, probably not, but it doesn't matter. It's 8 or 10 houses, you know, and I've got all my little notes here, right here, about values and percentages. And have I seen these houses? No. But do I know about what they're worth? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, okay, I'll give you $900,000 for these houses. And then I made 5 others, just single family houses.
Mm-hmm.
And I got one of them under contract.
That's right.
And 2 days later, I sold it
That's right.
for a profit.
That's right.
And that's the action that you have to take.
That's right.
That's it.
Every time.
Now, hopefully that's majoring in the majors, you know, that's doing the action that generates the cash flow.
Yeah.
And I haven't heard back on this one yet. And I'm probably going to get another one of those out of the 5. I'll probably get that under contract as soon as the sellers stop arguing with each other about what they want to do. You know how that goes. But that's another whole point is mindset there, which is, you know, this is not a corporate job.
No.
This is like the Wild West of business. You know, you got to understand that you're going to make an offer. some people are not even going to respond to you. Some people are going to be arguing with their other things that are going on. Your offer may not be presented right. There's a lot of variables, and you can't slow down just because somebody says that.
Just take it. Just take it.
Hi, this is Sammy with Sammy Hadid Real Estate Keller Williams. Are you looking for a top producing agent who will look out for your best interests? Top dollar on the sale of your home, a well-negotiated contract, an efficient closing? Please call me at 305-978-4249. I'm more than happy to set up a consultation. I'll put together a proposal for you to net top dollar for your home, what it is that I'm doing to get all my homes sold. Then you can decide what's best for you. Again, I'll do whatever it takes to get your home sold for top dollar, and I promise you that I will protect your equity with my life. 305-978-4249. Sammy Hadid, Hadid.
And we are back.
Yes, we are.
Did we go somewhere?
Oh, man, we go nowhere. We are always present. Always present. You know
Absolutely,
what I mean? That's right. We are here. But listen, I just want to hit a few bullet points because I want to make sure that everyone understands what these 4 wealth generators are, right? So we talked about cash flow, and I mentioned the other 3. But number 1 is cash flow, creating cash flow. And you do that, we're talking about long-term cash flow to become a millionaire, building wealth, right? So there's creating cash from wholesaling, and then there's creating actual cash flow, passive money that comes in, month after month after month, right? You can do that with 1 house, 20 houses, multifamily, commercial real estate in whatever category, but it's a matter of getting in. And you do that by either having your own cash, creating opportunities with creative financing options, or bringing in partners to create that cash flow. Along with that cash flow then comes appreciation. That's over time. But you also get the benefit of the compound interest, right? So like we talked about in the appreciation on that last deal, that opportunity of 3% a year, it's at 125, and then next year it's 129. The following year, if there's 3% appreciation, it's not off 125, it's off 129, So that benefit of compound interest over time is absolutely fantastic, especially if you're holding things for 10, 11, 12, 7 years even, 5 years even. It's a huge benefit. And then, of course, through that time is that loan pay down. That's number 3.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3 is the loan pay down. You're going to pay it down a little bit at a time. And yes, you're taking that money from your expenses, which are not calculated in your cash flow, right?
Right.
Your net cash flow, not your net operating income. Your net cash flow is different. So your bills through your expenses, you're paying your mortgage and stuff, and you're paying that down over time. Again, after 5, 7, 10, 11, 12, 15 years, it goes way down, way down.
This is the way to build wealth.
Absolute wealth, true wealth, especially if you're doing it like we do it.
Yeah.
There isn't an asset. We acquired an asset for $1.4 million 3 months ago.
Yeah.
3 months ago with just doing a few things, changing, fixing some roofs, revamping some of the units, increasing the rents. In 3 months, we took it from $1.4 million to $2.1 million valuation.
Right. Now you just mentioned a couple things, and it is a multifamily.
That is a multifamily.
And some people are going to have a hard time getting their head around putting roofs on multifamily.
Right.
It took me a while to get my head around putting a roof on a single family house. I like to kind of just ignore the roofs, hopefully they would go away, in terms of if they were bad, but that's not the way to do it.
Right.
So can you jump right into multifamily? Well, maybe if you can get your head around all this quickly and easily.
Or you partner with people that are doing it.
There you go.
And
or you join a syndication.
That's exactly right. But what else can you do to create $700,000 in value? Now that's real value.
Right.
Not inflated, not because we're saying it's worth that much.
That's an appraisal.
That's right. from the bank.
Based on cash flow.
Based solely on cash flow.
And we're not even finished.
No.
There,
no.
we've got 10 more units to bring up.
We're
right?
about seven more
Seven
units
more
to bring
units,
up.
okay.
And 7 more units to bring up, and about 15 or so to increase the rents in total.
Can we squeeze some maybe some mini storage on that property?
Not on that one, but not on that one. But I mean, we're looking at when it's all said and done, somewhere between approximately 2.5 million will be the valuation of this property, and that'll be done in a matter of months.
Yeah.
So inside of a year, we've created $1.1 million.
Say in about 6 months.
Yeah.
We'll be there, right?
Yeah. That's just one deal.
One deal.
Yeah. And which leads me right into pillar number 4. The tax advantages.
Aha.
I mean, the tax benefits. They're hugely favorable in commercial real estate, multifamily and stuff like that. Not quite as favorable with single family, but you still have the benefit.
Mm-hmm.
You have your, straight line depreciation. It means, again, if you paid $100,000 for that house, you're going to divide that by 27.5, which is a couple $1,000, I guess, a year as a write-off. But that, let's just call it $2,000 a year. And that first example that we gave, the income from that after the first year was $32,900. Right?
Okay.
It was $29,000 because the $25,000 in equity because we bought it right, plus the $1,500 in pay down, which was $30,500, plus the cash flow, which was $2,400, took us up to $32,900.
Yes.
Now that is not, you're not going to be taxed on all that, but you are going to be taxed on the $2,400, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you've got a $2,000 tax write-off, you're going to be taxed on $400 of that now.
Right.
So that is actual profit that you get to keep. Those write-offs are hugely beneficial. We have another property, real life example. We're writing off just on that one property, $53,000 in change for the year.
And how long did we own that one? For that
Less
year?
than 2 months.
Less than 2 months.
We bought it on October 2nd.
Okay. That's not bad. That's not bad at all.
Yeah. So those are your 4 wealth generators. You have cash flow, you have appreciation, you have the loan pay down, and you have tax benefits. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Let me back up a little bit. You talked about compound interest.
Absolutely.
You ever heard of Albert Einstein?
I think I've heard of that guy.
Yeah, he was a pretty sharp guy. I think he won Nobel Peace Prize for physics and photon something.
Yeah,
lights.
yeah.
Anyway, so you know what he said the most amazing thing was in the universe?
Compound interest?
Yes.
He
said that.
It's
Compound interest. Yes.
It's fantastic. I mean, if you start investing now, right now, and you in real estate, it's totally different. Do you get the benefit of compound interest in the stock market and in bonds? Absolutely you do, right? But it took Warren Buffett a long time and being very, very active in terms of making the right trades and the right acquisitions to really, really make the billions that he's worth today, right?
Trillions.
And he is so patient, right? Not many of us have the patience of Job.
That's right.
We just don't. So we want to get there faster. You want to enjoy it while you're relatively young. You know what I mean? No, I mean, it's great. Look, I'm a billionaire, but I'm 89 now.
I know, really. But listen, we've been talking about how to become a millionaire using real estate. And we've talked about single families and how you can do it that way. And we've kind of rolled into the multifamily.
Yeah.
And we've mentioned a lot of terms here and concepts. And, we have actually a 2-hour seminar coming up.
That's right.
On multifamily evaluations and syndication.
That's right.
So if you want to know how to evaluate multifamily and you want to learn what a syndication is and what the benefits of that is, then come to our seminar. It's on February the 15th from 10 to 12. We don't want to keep you for 3 days.
No.
We're going to teach you everything we possibly can in 2 hours.
Right. We want you to leave there, in all honesty, with some information, but with a lot more questions than you came with.
Yeah.
A lot more exact questions, if you will, because wanting to know about a thing, just broad, I want to know about multifamily real estate investing. That's broad.
Yeah.
Because there's so many things. So once you have a 2-hour conversation, you get to kind of pinpoint the things that you want to know more about. And now you can ask the right questions, and you'll know who to ask as well without having to spend $30,000 to do it.
Exactly. And you can learn by going and buying some of these, like you just said.
Yeah.
Go spend $50,000 a door, $100,000 a door for multifamily.
Hey, listen, and
then you'll learn whether or not you got a deal or not.
Oh, you will.
You'll figure it out.
There's a guy. There are a few people out there that are actually very good at what they do, but they, in terms of investing in multifamily and teaching people how to do it, but it's literally $40,000 to $50,000 to get in, to start.
Right.
To start the learning process. Okay.
Now you're talking about education.
Yeah.
They're going to teach you how to do it.
Yeah, but you also have those education syndications,
right?
Which are people that just started, let's say within the past 5 or 6 years investing in multifamily, and they charge you to educate you because of a loophole in the 506 rule, because now you have the 506B and the 506C. I know I'm getting ahead of myself here, but there's a rule that defines how a person can invest.
And if you want to learn more about that, come to the seminar.
That's right.
And then you can ask Jason O'Miles, #real estate trainer.
Absolutely.
Is it the real estate trainer?
The real estate trainer.
Yes, sir.
I like how you did that, by the way. That was a wonderful, wonderful pullback.
Thank you.
You didn't see him. If you're not watching this on YouTube, you didn't see him stab me in the leg with his pen.
I didn't do that. I was just talking here. We're just having a conversation. But, I like where you were going earlier, about mindset.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of good stuff on YouTube. Neville Goddard's one of my favorite. He talks about you've got to see yourself having at the end of whatever it is you want. In other words, see yourself in it.
Yeah.
Think of it, not think from it, not of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, if you want to be a successful real estate investor, you are a real estate investor now, not you're going to be.
Mm-hmm.
You just are.
That's right. And I do something very similar. I see myself where I want to be.
Yeah.
And then I work it backwards.
That's it. That's the program.
Yeah. That's what I do.
And the way to start that is, listen to us on YouTube and iTunes and
all of that.
Spotify.
Take action.
Take action.
Take action and listen to us. Real Estate 360.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for listening.